All right, I promised you we were going to talk about car insurance. All right. And car insurance is important. The main thing I want you to do with your car insurance, though, is recognize that your car is a huge liability in your life. Bad things happen with cars. And if you've worked, in a trauma center, you know this. Bad things happen. Cars go fast, they're big hunks of metal. They're not always driven by people who are paying attention or who are competent or who are sober, and things can happen. It's a huge source of liability for you. When you look at the data for umbrella insurance, 80% of umbrella insurance claims are auto related. The big liability is your car, not people tripping on your sidewalk in front of your house, not you libeling somebody. It's something happening in your car while you're driving it, while your kid's driving it, whatever. That's the big liability. So, the first kind of insurance you need for your car is liability insurance. And what's wild about liability insurance is how low the state required amounts are. In many states, they're $50,000 or even less. And imagine how much damage you can do with your car in a fraction of a second. Okay, imagine you are, driving down the road and you come across a CEO making $2 million a year, driving a Tesla with their three kids, and you smack them, and they all go to the ER, and one of them ends up in the ICU for a month, and and that CEO is disabled and out of work for 5 years, and the Tesla costs $120,000 to start with. How far is that 50 grand going to go? It's not going to go very far. Right? That's the sort of liability you have. Yeah, you might hit a $3,000 Accord and not hurt the person at all in it. And maybe they only make 20 grand a year anyway. So maybe there's not much liability when you hit that person. But there's some expensive people on the road and some expensive vehicles, and $50,000 isn't going to cut it. So the first thing you need to do with your auto insurance, if you're like most people who are hearing this for the first time, is increase your liability insurance. Okay, so you increase that. Typically, you're required to increase it to something like $300,000 in order to get umbrella insurance. Umbrella is personal liability insurance. It sits on top of your auto insurance and your homeowner's insurance and provides additional liability protection. So recognizing that you're going to need an umbrella policy, and don't worry, it's much cheaper than your malpractice insurance. Talk to them about how much do I need to have in order to get umbrella. And it's going to be a lot more than you probably have right now. You probably have 50, maybe 100 if you really splurged on it. But you probably need a 7-figure amount of liability insurance on that car. Okay, the other main part of car insurance is, comprehensive and collision insurance. Collision obviously pays in wrecks where it's your fault. Your fault pays for your car, right? If it's their fault, they pay for your car. If it's their car, your liability coverage covers it. So it replaces your car when it's your fault in the accident. That's what collision insurance is. And you also, comprehensive is like all the other things that happen to your car. A tree falls on it or whatever. So that's the insurance you use. Your homeowner's insurance actually covers the contents of your car. Someone breaks into your car and takes all your stuff. That's not your auto insurance. That's your homeowner's or your renter's insurance that covers that. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's where you make that claim. Which is unfortunate because then you got to, the damage to your car, you have to pay another deductible to your car insurance company. So do you need comprehensive and collision? Well, we like keeping it on at least one of our cars because then when you go, rent a car, it usually covers that and you don't have to pay extra for the ridiculous insurance. And because we travel a lot and rent cars a lot, that's a big deal. It usually doesn't work in foreign countries, but as long as you're renting in the US, you don't have to pay for the insurance. So that's a nice benefit, I find, of having it on at least one vehicle. But the approach most people take is they insure the expensive vehicles they have. If they got a car that's still worth 50 grand, they carry comprehensive collision on it. When it's worth 4 grand, maybe they don't. They figure they can self-insure that. You'll have to make those decisions yourself. But, as your car becomes worth less, obviously that insurance isn't worth as much. But yeah, go take a look at your auto insurance. Make sure it's set up properly, and if not, add some insurance to it. You need to insure against financial catastrophes. You don't need to insure against that stuff that you can self-insure, but most of us cannot self-insure running over a CEO and disabling them for life. So get that insurance.
The hosts of The White Coat Investor are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.